this lesson, we're going to be talking about equations. And before we start to talk about equations, we need to know the difference between an equation and an expression. Oftentimes, whenever we think about algebra, pre-algebra, we think, oh, everything's just an equation, right? Well, that's not true. They are different from each other. An equation has an equal sign. There's two sides, and they are equal to each other. An expression is just something that you might solve using the order of operations, where, this would obviously be a number, but you don't see an equal sign here. You don't see an inequality sign. So we have equations that have an equal sign. We have expressions that are just, they don't have an equal sign. And then we do have inequalities. And that might look like 6x is greater than 10. So there's the greater than. You could have less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to signs for an inequality. So in this lesson, we are asked to decide if these two sides are equal to each other, which means, are they equations? So we're going to write in this box either equal to or not equal to. This is a sign that you want to get used to using for algebra. We will see this come up again and again, and it's a handy symbol to know whenever you want to say something is not equal to something else. So we have to keep in mind the order of operations, and each side of this potential equation is an expression. So we want to solve this expression first, and then we want to solve this expression, and then decide if they are equal to each other. So using the order of operations, we've got, is my dear Aunt Sally. Remember, we're going to use G for grouping symbols. We have no grouping symbols here. Do one at a time. Don't try to be a math hero and do both at the same time. So we're going to look at this side first. We've got multiplication before subtraction, so we've got to do 18 minus 4, which gives us 14. Okay, now we're ready to do this side. We've got to do grouping symbols first, so we've got to do 6 minus 4 first. That gives us 2, and our final answer is 6. Are they equal to each other? No, of course they're not. So we're going to put the is not equal to sign. And that's how you should do each one of the problems in this section. Let's take a look at another one here. So again, we're going to use the order of operations and we're going to do one side at a time. Let's do the first side here. We've got no grouping symbols, no exponents. We do have multiplication and addition, so we've got to do the multiplication first and then add. So we've got 55 plus 12 times 3, 55 plus 36, and what do we've got? 91. All right, let's look over here. 19 plus 3 times 8 times 3. Well, we've got grouping symbols. So we've got to do 8 times 3 first. 19 plus 3 times 24. All right, what do we do first? We've got multiplication and addition. So we've got to do our multiplication first. 24 times 3 is 72 plus 19. 72 plus 19 is 91. So therefore, this is a true statement. This is an equation. Now here is a case where you don't have to decide if the two sides are equal to each other. You already are told that this is an equation. And what we have to decide here is they're saying, okay, well, we're going to make x equal to 40. Let's see if 40 makes this a true equation, if it's a true statement or not. So what we're going to do here, we're going to say x is 40, so we're going to plug 40 in for x, and we're going to say 16 is equal to 0.4 times 40. All right, so now we just have to take 40 times 0.4, put that into your calculator, and we get 16 is equal to 16 because 40 times 0.4 is 16. So it says the directions say determine if the given value makes the open sentence true or false. So we will say true. They're not always going to be multiplication. You're going to see addition, subtraction, division in there as well. But you do the same procedure where they give you an equation and you have to decide if this makes this equation true or not. So if x is 120, we're going to plug 120 in for x. Then we're going to solve it and see if it's true. All right, so we've got 0.1 times 120 is equal to 12. Well, let's put that into our calculator. 120 times 0.1, and we get 12 is equal to 12. So yes, 120, when x is 120, the statement is true. So this makes a true statement. Now we're going to apply what we have learned here to an actual real life situation where you will find yourself in this situation where you're at an amusement park, a fair, or whatever, and you have to decide, am I going to pay the flat fee so I can ride all day, or do I pay a smaller entrance fee and pay per ride? Well, you're going to have to figure it out. Whether you know it or not, you will be using algebra to figure these types of problems out. You have to decide, is it going to be cheaper for you to pay $60 for a wristband and ride unlimited, or are you going to pay 10 bucks and pay $3 per ride? So you have to decide which one of these options is best for you. Now, what you want to do here, and in your real life situation, you will decide, okay, how many rides do I think I'm going to ride? Well, let's see, I'm going to ride this, 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 this. Okay, so you figure out how many rides you're going to ride, and then you decide, is it going to be cheaper for me to pay per ride or for an all-you-can-ride wristband? So let's see. In this problem, they tell us we're going to ride 20 rides. So in case one, we pay 60 bucks and we can ride those 20 rides all we want. In fact, we could ride more if we wanted to. But in the second scenario, we would pay $10 to enter and $3 per ride. So you're going to set up an expression here. $10 is your entrance fee, what you started off with, plus $3 per ride. You're going to pay $3 and you're going to pay $3 20 times. So now let's solve this. In the second scenario, we have to multiply first. We've got 60. In this case, you're going to be paying $70 to ride 20 rides. So which option do you want? You want to take the wristband. You're going to buy that wristband and you're going to save money if you're going to ride 20 rides.